So someone comes into the store then, and because of the pandemic, I'm sure we can talk about that in a little bit of just dealing with that as a business owner. But when someone comes into the store, and now because of the pandemic, they're not flying, or they might not have been flying last year, they want to travel by car and just road trip in Oklahoma for the weekend. What are your top places that you tell them to go to then?
Well, I mean, we talked about Southeastern Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. If camping's on the list at all, and I encourage people to try it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're not going to die.
Yeah.
I mean, just get out of the lightning, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Stay alive
Don't
of a
go in
tornado.
May. Yeah.
But, it's surprisingly easy to have a good time camping. You don't need, a trailer full of stuff. So I think that the state park systems are good. I mean, there's some that are better than others, of course, that certainly everybody has different opinions on different ones. But yeah, I mean, you can totally make a weekend out of Southeast. I mean, you can take it longer than a weekend in Southeastern Oklahoma. Certainly you can make a weekend out of the Wichita Mountains. There's closer ones like Roman Nose. If you haven't been up there, that's a cool spot. And tie multiple together or however you want to do it, set up a base camp and explore that way. We get a lot of people that will drive by these places, and that's okay to get up into the Southern Rockies. And certainly you can get up into Southern Colorado or Northern New Mexico in 8 hours.
Yeah.
So on a Thursday afternoon, you can be up there somewhere and spend Friday, Saturday, and drive home the second half of Sunday. So there's a lot of that happens. But yeah, I mean, there's still spots here. Northwest Arkansas is really cool as well.
Yeah.
For both hiking and biking and fishing. And so there's cool spots. And it's maybe you could argue they're few and far between, but there are some.
Yeah. So because of you having this store then, has it kind of forced you to get out more and go travel and go see places? And like we spoke earlier before recording about, taking product with you to go shoot and take photos of it. And I assume that would have been the greatest excuse ever to go somewhere, right?
Yeah. It's just an excuse.
Yeah.
To get out.
Hey, I want to go cross this place off the list.
Right.
Let me take some stuff with me.
I'd kind of tried to dabble or try to really get into what I would call legit mountaineering or alpine climbing before the store, but it was
like climbing up rock faces and legit hard hat stuff, proper stuff,
ropes
not just kind of
and crampons and ice axes and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I couldn't really get into it until after the shop opened. So the one thing I've really been able to get into is alpine climbing. And
that's some pretty hairy stuff.
And so, I think, and I don't know what it is. I mean, for me, I went from hiking to backpacking, and backpacking was so cool because you had everything you needed on your back, and you were self-sufficient, and you got to somewhere and be like, I'm going to camp here, and I've got it all here, and then you start doing that for extended days, and you keep seeing what's over the next ridge and what's over that sense of exploration that I think so many people have. What's over there and what's over there, and for me doing that, in the mountains, I got to want to see what's up there, like what's that ridge line like, what's that above tree line look like, I wonder, and so the backpacking trips turned into picking spots and trails that were above tree line, and that was like this whole new world for me, kind of like scuba diving, let's say, right? Yeah. You can go under, and it's like entering this new dimension. You can't stay there very long because you can't survive. There's nothing up there enough for you to survive, but you can visit for a while, and it's pretty fascinating.
And you're probably the only one there.
And the views and the ruggedness and all these things. And so that always drew me to where I wanted to be up above tree line and see what that was like. So the natural next thing for me was the alpine climbing stuff. Side of things. And so, it was, I don't remember, maybe 2010 started taking trips to the Canadian Rockies, and that's where it really set in.
Yeah.
That's an amazing part of the world. And so I could justify it as, product testing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's not a vacation. This is a business expense.
Right.
100%.